The EF 35mm f2 IS USM is the latest generation of Canon's large aperture, wide-angle prime, now brought to market with a built-in stabilizer. Part of a revamped lineup made for advanced amateurs and videographers, this 35 f2 was introduced together with the 24 and 28 f2.8s, all sporting the IS to suit video recording from Canon's newer EOS cinema lineup. At 78 by 63mm of 335 grams of mostly plastics, the first thing we notice on the EF 35 IS USM is the new design school, taking the place of the vintage 35 f2 from the 90s. The new lens is larger, easier to hold, with a new plastic texture and better overall build. The usability is also standard for a prime lens, with a manual focusing ring and control switches on the side that showcases Canon masters of the plastics. This is not an L series, but it certainly feels premium. The manual focusing ring, for example, is extremely smooth and precise, accurately moving the internal groups to the select position, and the distance window is clear and easy to see, something we don't see very often. Inside, Canon also updated its autofocusing motor, opting for a proper ring-type USM, one of the fastest we've ever seen here on lens data. Paired to the EOS 6D, in low light it locked focus in well under half a second, and it never failed to release the shutter, all aided by the new IS. This stabilizer promises for up to 4 stops of compensation, good to leave the tripod at home, and works to compensate for the camera's movement. It's a killer feature to have also in use during video recording, as the panning movements are super smooth, the best in class always offered by Canon. Finally, at the front, the 67mm filters fix over the front optical element to avoid flaring, and at the rear the metal mount doesn't sport any form of weather sealing. It's well put together, but demands some TLC when working under the elements. The box still doesn't include any accessories, despite the premium price tag, but it feels fair for the new build quality, the best in plastics from Canon's EF lineup. With a 10 elements in 8 groups optical formula, including one glass mode of spherical lens to deal with spherical aberrations, and enhanced lens positioning encodings to reduce flaring, what the 35 f2 IS USM delivers optically is fair. Not the sharpest wide open, probably due to stabilization effects, but near flawless when stopped down. The overall performance just didn't get that much better from the previous vintage 35 f2, and after Sigma's near-perfect 35 f1.40 GR, we were expecting more from most primes. With that said, it's hard to complain about this 35 IS USM performance, with fair details across the frame until the corners of the full frame, making it super flexible to work under low light, paired to the IS. Stopping down greatly enhances corner performance, good for high-precision shots of landscapes and street photography, and the overall contrast is also great, a statement to the revamped chemical coatings. The frame geometry is also good under everyday situations, with straight lines around the edges that remain straight, with visible distortion only when shooting idiotic test shots. The autofocus quality is also a tad smoother despite the usual fuzziness when your subject is already far within the background, actually making me question those specs for shallow depth of few shots. I'd recommend a longer lens to shoot subjects against a blurred composition. And finally, color and flaring resistance are always great from Canons at this price point, and I never really had any issues shooting subjects against a strong backlight. So overall, this is an improvement over the same spec that is actually quite popular from many brands, making its biggest selling point on the IS, perfect to work under low light. Also, Canon makes it even better with a ring-type USM, and this is one of the fastest lenses to focus on the EF lineup. So it's an easy recommendation, if you know what you're shooting, low-light subjects, made easy by this new 35 f2 IS. So just add it on your kit, and nice shooting.